Have you ever thought about how caffeine affects your body? After hearing my speech, you will know more about the benefits and disadvantages of consuming caffeine. Do you consider yourself to be a caffeine addict? How many cups of coffee do you drink a day? I drink a lot of coffee, and it made me wonder about how it affects my health. After researching caffeine, I thought this would make a great topic to talk about because caffeine affects all of us to some degree. Caffeine dominates our society, whether it's by coffee shops on every corner or ads about energy drinks. It seems like there's a new article every week about how caffeine is good for our health or bad for our health. What do you believe? Today I'd like to go over some facts about caffeine. First, I want to discuss the positive benefits. Second, the negative consequences of consuming too much caffeine. And last, how to lower our consumption to a safe, healthy level. Let's begin by looking at some positive news about caffeine. Villanova University tells us that caffeine is made from leaves, seeds, and fruits from about 63 different plants. And it's a well-known documented stimulant. Caffeine wakes us up, makes us more alert, and it increases our attention span. So a benefit we get from caffeine is that we may drink coffee at night while we're driving to help us stay awake when we get drowsy. Or we may drink coffee or caffeine to help us to be more alert to sit through a lecture or study for a big exam. According to Lucia Bushuk, caffeine contains antioxidants, which are proven cancer preventers. Joseph Nordic says that drinking coffee lowers our risk of liver disease or liver cancer by up to 40%. He goes on to say that it also lowers the cardiovascular disease and heart disease by 11%. Now that we've seen some of the benefits of caffeine, let's look at some of the disadvantages. Villanova University goes on to say that drinking large amounts or consuming large amounts of caffeine can have adversely affect our health. It can cause us to have headaches or restlessness, nervousness, or be unable to sleep. It does this by increasing our breathing, heart rate, and blood pressure, and it constricts our blood flow, tenses up our muscles, and causes digestive problems. These effects last about 5 to 7 hours after consumption. Dr. Conlon says that large amounts of caffeine can even produce hallucinations. Don't try that at home. When we consume 600 milligrams of caffeine a day for long periods of time, we can cause ourselves to get into depression. So we need to try to consume less caffeine, about 250 milligrams a day, or about 3 8-ounce cups of coffee. Since we have seen the bad effects of consuming too much caffeine, let's talk about how we can lower our caffeine consumption to a healthy level. We need to understand that the negative effects based on caffeine comes about from ingesting large amounts of caffeine, so we need to lower our intake. One thing we could do is we could just cut back 1 cup a day. That'll help lower our intake. Or we could go from drinking large cups of coffee to small cups. We can drink decaffeinated beverages or beverages with less caffeine. We can do that by mixing regular and decaffeinated beverages 50-50, or when we make a pot of coffee, make it a lot weaker. Now, we understand some of the positive and negative effects that caffeine can have on our health and on our body. One essential point to remember is that if we drink caffeine in moderation, really, we have nothing to worry about. So let's review. We've learned how caffeine affects our body and our health. We've learned the positive aspects that caffeine has on us. We've learned some of the negative consequences from drinking too much caffeine. And finally, we've learned some different ways to lower our caffeine consumption to a healthy level. So the next time you're thinking about that third cup of coffee, at least you're going to know how it's going to affect your health and body. Thank you.